Hi guys, Carrie Scroggins, owner of KDS Insurance Services in the Houston area. I wanted to come in today to do a really important video because, as you know, we are in the middle of hurricane season, and by all accounts, it's going to get nasty. So I thought it was really important and pertinent to do a sort of checklist, a prepare your property, prepare your home, prepare yourself for the upcoming, what is apparently going to be one right after another. And if you're in the Houston and surrounding area, if you're in any of the Gulf Coast areas of Houston, Texas, and along the seaboard, it's really important to be prepared, okay? Being prepared can make the difference between literally life and death, okay? Hurricanes are nothing to mess around with, and the resulting storms and surges and flooding and hail and wind and all of that, tornadoes, can be just as bad, if not worse sometimes, than the actual storm. So, first things first, make sure your homeowner's insurance is in place. Make sure if you have a separate wind and hail policy that is in place. Make sure if you're in those low-lying areas that do flood, that you have flood insurance in place. Huge, huge important pieces of this puzzle is making sure that they are in good standing, because if they're not, you need to get it corrected now before it's too late. Normally speaking, flood insurance has a 30-day window to wait. So once it's actually issued, there's a 30-day waiting period. So please, if you're within 10 miles of a flood zone, please take the time, get with an agent, and find out if it's something that you can still get into place before we get into this cycle, which they're coming one right after another. Beryl has done unbelievable damage. It hit landfall. It's going to slow, but then it's going to get back into the Gulf and it's going to rebuild, and then it's going to come on to Texas, where we believe towards the South Texas area. But look guys, these things can change on a dime. So be prepared. Have your home prepared. Get everything away from your home that is not secure. Wheelbarrows, tractors, detached buildings that are not attached to the ground, that can be picked up and thrown into your home. If you've got an above ground pool, make sure that it's secure. If you've got outside animal shelters, please take care of your animals. Do whatever you got to do to make them safe. We have animals. We have a dog, but we also have a koi pond. So it's very important to prepare that koi pond in the event that we have a catastrophe here, because a koi pond has to have what? It has to have oxygen. And if we run out of air, if we have no electricity, we have to make sure that we have an alternate source, which is where generators come in. If you don't have a generator, I would strongly encourage you to get some sort of generator so you can get fans, so you can run your refrigerator, so you can run those really important things that you have to have for life and death. Okay, it's so important. You can actually buy generators now that will run a whole home. Obviously, they're not cheap, but if you live in this area, you know how often this happens, and it's probably a good investment. If you don't have it now and you can't do it now, maybe plan for it, start saving for it so you can have that available. I can tell you, my husband and I are in the process of doing that, because we've had 4 electrical outages since May. 4. One of them was 4 days. We can't afford here in this area to be without air conditioning. That is a life and death situation, because with 100-degree temperatures, not only would we suffer, but our animals would suffer too. And so we have to have that backup. We just don't have a really big one, and that's something that we are actively working on. Prepare your property. Make sure you've got a good food supply that you can use and consume on a barbecue grill. So make sure you've got a lot of propane available. food that you can actually cook and prepare on a barbecue if you don't have the means for a generator. That's really important. Make sure you have a lot of water. That's also very important. When a hurricane is coming, if you have multiple bathtubs, fill the bathtubs up. Make sure you clean them beforehand. Make sure they're really clean, and then fill them up with as much water as you can so you have a supply of water on hand that you can use, especially for cooking and doing your dishes and washing yourself. And if you fill up your bathtubs, you're gonna have a really good supply. We have 2 bathtubs and they're both gonna be filled up just to have that extra supply of water. Then you need to get bottled water. That's very important. So you have bottled water as well, because you don't want to be drinking water that you don't know is 100% clean. Even in your water that you save in your bathtub, if you're going to use that for cooking, please boil it so you can make sure that it has nothing in it that's going to make you sick, because you don't want to be sick during one of these horrible events that have a tendency to happen here in the Gulf Coast area. Prepare your home, prepare your food, prepare your family plan. If you've got to evacuate, you need as a family to have a plan, right? If you're grown and your children are grown and you have extended family units, make sure that everybody knows what everybody's plan is, so you don't have to worry and be concerned about, is everybody okay? Of course, make sure your cell phones and your cell phone plan is up to date, so you have a way to communicate. And this is where, again, the generator comes in, so you can make sure to keep your cell phones charged, because it really is your link to the outside world. Now, in our lifetime, now our phones are so vitally important. So make sure your plan is up to date. Make sure you have a good family plan that everybody knows about. If you've got to evacuate, and all of you live close to each other and you've all got to evacuate, have a family plan, know where you're going to meet, know where you're going to go, so everybody is on the same page, so you're not frantically looking for family members. And don't wait till the last minute. Don't. If you got to prepare your home and board up your home, take your dogs and your animals that you can take, secure the ones that you cannot take, have your game plan, and don't wait until the last minute. Don't get caught and not be able to get out. That's when people lose their lives, because they wait too long to get out of the way. Be prepared. Talk to your agent. See if there's any questions about your policy. And then if you do have a claim, make sure, first and foremost, that your home is safe to return to. Please do not go back into a home that has no roof or has major damage that is unsafe for you. You need to do what is most important for you and your loved ones to stay safe. You can always put your home back together, right? It's just not as important as making sure that you are safe and that your family is safe and that you have a game plan, and never leave yourself too short on time to evacuate if you have to. Just be smart. If there's things around your home and you're not close to the Gulf, but you could get the outlining storms, make sure there's nothing around your home that can be used as a weapon to throw into your home or into your cars. If you have to, if you know you've got big limbs that are now hanging over your house, now's the time to get them taken care of, because you don't want big limbs falling in your house or on your cars, or God forbid, on somebody else. It's really important to pay attention now, get in touch with somebody now. If there's any tree within 10 feet of your home, that's on the sides and above your home, okay? And just be prepared. Have all your paperwork together, know where all your paperwork is, make sure a family member knows where your paperwork is. The key here is to be prepared in hurricane season. That really is the best thing you can do for yourself, is to be prepared. Your house, your evacuation plan, your food, an alternate energy source, knowing the steps that you need to take in the event that you do have a claim, And then always putting your safety first. That is, and your pet's safety first. That is the first and foremost thing that you need to be worried about. God bless everybody. It's going to be a rough 6 weeks, I think. So please be prepared. Get with your agent if you have any questions. Make sure you're watching the news. Make sure you're watching the weather channels. Heed the warnings. Right now in particular, we are under excessive heat warnings. So it's really important to travel with water. Don't leave your animals out in excessive heat. They can't survive it either. And just pay attention. Pay attention to the warnings. Pay attention to what the day's going to be so you know what to expect. And always travel with extra water. You can't live without water. You can live for a few days without food, but you cannot survive without water. That is first and foremost the priority in preparing for those things is your adequate water supply. Just on a daily basis too, you should always travel with extra water because you just never know. Especially in the heat of Texas, you just never know. God bless everybody. If I can answer any questions, this is Carrie, owner of KDS Insurance Services located in the Hockley area. God bless everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of this 4th of July weekend, and be smart, be prepared, and be informed. God bless.